Okay, so just as we looked at the difference between thermosetting and thermo-softening plastics, we can also look at the effect of branching on polymers. So if we look at the examples of HDPE, which is high density polyethylene, and we can look at the structure of low density polyethylene. These two have very different branching. So when you make the low density polyethylene, they used to make it under high pressure and high temperature, and so it formed very quickly. And this meant that the chains didn't have as long to get into position into a nice crystalline form. So they instead made this very disorderly structure, which ended up with lots more branching going on between the different chains. So it's quite low density. It's non-crystalline, so it's about 65% crystalline. And by crystalline we mean how ordered it is and how lined up all the chains are. And therefore, because of this structure, it's relatively soft and it has a low melting point. If we look at HDPE, where we give the chains longer to form up and line up with each other, we get effectively a much more crystalline structure, which means that they're in a much more orderly structure. And it's actually 95% crystalline in comparison to LDPE. And the way we do this is at lower pressure. So we give the chains longer to form, and we had to use a catalyst to allow us to do this. And this means that there's a lot less branching. So because of the high crystalline structure, it's a lot more dense and it's a lot harder. So this gives it its uses. So if you look at LDPE, we often use it for these kind of packaging materials. HDPE we can use for sort of hard piping and that kind of thing. We're going to look more at crystalline structure in a later video, but that's a brief introduction.